overall about the whole project, the whole activities, the unique and separate from normal organizational work. And I shared with you before, the company need to do a new task, and this is the very new one, the new task, and no one have ever done before. So therefore, the companies will have, they have to reduce the risk by finding one person, experienced person who have ever done that project or that task before, asking him or her to work for, and she will self or have authority to build up the project, the team for her or for him. Continually involved into, and I share with you, the project build a new factory. Is it right? So right now, the first phase we have the project to build a factory. What is the next phase? Because the factories mean you just construct their physical factory, the building, equip or install the machine into the or assembly line into the factory. That's all. What's the next? What's the next? I come back to the project we have done last time, the pump factory. Okay, so the company want to have a new contract and they want to enlarge their factory by building the new one. Okay, so they assign you to become the managers of the project to build a new factory. Okay, you have to know about the factory to produce the pumps, devices, the water pumps. The next thing is, you know about the production. The next thing is, you need to have the worker to maintain or to process or to implement or to work with assembly line. Okay? The second is, you recruit those people to work for you. But what happens if they proceed in the future if you not or you no longer manage them? You withdraw the project, and the company will invite new guys to come. So it's not easy. So that means we in the project, in the realities, in the project management, the company just manage the leader of the project. Because that guy will, affect all of the people, all of supporting him. We just pick up the best, excellent team leader, and that person will take care of everything, right? So the process, how about the process? Ongoing day-to-day activities, we have a checklist. The process, normally we have a checklist, ongoing, like tick, 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 tick. While the project, and the project is bigger, it's just like the larger than the process. The process, for example, running the building. The project, we need the project, running the building. We have many departments, like security, reception, office. We also have the operation office. So, like security, what's the process of controlling or managing the car parking or the parking areas? We need to have the process. We have the basement. The first floor. We also have the receptions, the reception office. So when a new customer comes, a new guest visits our building, what's the process of welcoming that guy? Because we need to have the process. Or someone comes to the office, and what's the process of answering the phone call from the guest? We need to standardize all of them. So when you're thinking about standardize the task and the sub-task, so we call that's the process. But when you're thinking about the overall, so about the whole task, that all people have to integrate to one, so we call the project. This is like it's larger than the process. The process like the task or the daily task inside the project, like this. Okay, next one, additional definition. A project is a unique venture with the beginnings and ends. I mean, from the beginning to the end. We cannot say ongoing project and never end project. So we need to have, because we need to have the close out project to make sure that the project is completed or is done. You cannot say let the project ongoing forever. Impossible. Okay. The next is conducted by people to meet established goals within the parameter of cost, schedule, or quality. Okay, there's three things we consider: the cost, schedule, and quality. The cost, we also calculate how much do you pay, because investor like investor. For example, when you go to the Shark Tank program, TV shows, and the shark always asks you how much invest in your project, and what did you invest in your project, and when do I get back the returns? Is it right? You cannot invest in the project for 5 years or 10 years or never define any day. Okay, we need to, normally the shark will consider the short term with the high return, the short time with high returns. For example, invest in 2 years and get back all return. They prefer that thing than invest in long term, because this is the venture. Next, the quality. The quality, how do you control the quality? Based on your skills, based on many expertise, based on experiences, or other things, and based on the request, the demand, the expectation from the investor. The project are goal-oriented, involve the coordinate undertaking of the interrelated activities, are of the finite durations, and are all to decrease units. Normally, you're talking about the goals. So, in the project, the most important is the first phase. We have to define what is your project. Is it right? Scale, scope, duration, work breakdown structure. We have to define at the first phase. Okay, why? Because when you clearly define the first phase, you have the overview about what do you have to do in the future. For example, you want to do a paper, you want to write a thesis. The very important is you have the topic, of course, but in the project we have the topic already. The second thing is the proposal. Because they want to know what is the proposal. What will you write? What do you want to write in the future? And you have to write down, define that in the proposal. The proposal, when the proposal is approved, and then you do it. Nearly 60% of the project finished. That's finished. So in the project, the overview is very important. You need to know exactly what do you do, or you have to have the plan to do in the future. Alright, so that's follow up. That's the way what we do. I hope that you have to spend time clearly define the first phase. The element of the project, complexity, one-time processes. You cannot do it the second time. If the second time, you need to have the improvement. You cannot imitate, like copy exactly the same. For example, even you are doing the franchise, you think that the franchise, you even like replicate the model. Not exactly. They copy, but they learn, because this is improvement, learning. They improve every day, they improve throughout a new agent, and then they can cut down or minimize the cost. The second is limited by budget, schedule, and resources. If you have so much money to run the project without caring about the loss, that's not a project. That's not like you are visualizing your dream. For example, my university, the investment of my universities doesn't care much about like the return from student. You can do whatever you like. Imagine that in my university, the investor invests much money to build the university, the school, but they don't care much about the intake student. For example, this year, my school recruits around 300 students. For the big school, 300 students is very small number. Not enough to pay salary for all the lecturers. So right now, that's the reason why I do not belong to the university. I belong to the company, the corporation. Did the corporation pay money for me? Pay salary for me, not the school. Because the school doesn't have enough money to pay. That's only one thing. So the search project, the owner, the investor, want to visualize the dream. He has a dream to open a school, to provide the affordable program for all people, for low-income people. So that is the dream, and you do it. But to the business, for our commercial business, they will think about the profit. You have a limited budget, schedule, and resources. They cannot suffer long time. Is that right? Develop to solve the clear goals or set up goals. First, what is a goal? How to write a goal? That is another scheme. To write a goal, we normally begin with the structure, the action verb, the object in the context. You know the way that we write a goal? When you want to write a goal, I think some of you have ever written your goals. The goal of life. What do you do? What will you be in the next 5 years? Your goal is graduate from this school with the high score, with the D level. For example, is it right? Graduate, that's the action verb. We normally begin the objective or the goal with the action verb. We graduate or graduate, begin with action. The program, the object, at the level, D level, context. Yeah, that you are the distinction student, the distinction graduations. So we begin. I hope that you know the clear goal. We cannot begin the object or the goal with the very general statement because it's too general and no one knows how to do it. For example, your father, your parents set a goal for you. In 5 years, you have to get a bachelor degree from University of Sunderland. In 5 years, we have a limited time. They cannot suffer for 6 or 7 years because they have land that they can pay money for you for 5 years. To the 6 years, pay by yourselves. Next is the customer focus, because this is a business project. So all the things must consider the customer, what customer need, what customer want, and then we follow. Okay, very clear. This is on the theories. General project characteristics. First one, ad hoc endeavor with the clear life cycle. Ad hoc means we also have the recheck. After we finish, recheck, finish, recheck, finish, recheck, finish. Okay, and then we recheck. Recheck, not recheck. Recheck means we check it again. Not recheck means we ignore it. Sorry. Recheck means we check it again. To learn, improve. Building blocks in the design and execution of organizational strategies. Because the project is normally follow the organizational strategies. You cannot build a project isolation with the company because the company is set up the project. For example, in human resources management, I have the project to change the slider or to change the human resource of organization, make them younger. How can we do? But we recruit a newcomer, a new guy, train them with the new culture, with the new thing that I want to share. So that's it. We build it. We design all the things. We recruit people to work for our HR department, but those people have to be familiar with organizational culture. I cannot recruit one person that without caring about the uniforms. I also have the subordinate. He doesn't care much about the uniform. He goes to the company, he wear pool, he wears shorts. It's up to him. He like that style, free style. But I told him that this is organization. This is an organization. It's not a bird net. You can go out and you can wear everything you like. But this organization, we have the policies, we have the culture, we have the philosophy, we have the the rules in the organization. You have to follow. If you cannot follow, go away. That's it. Responsible for the newest and most improved product, services, and organizational processes. Responsible for all the newest things. Because you cannot, that I showed you that we cannot replicate the project for the second time or third time. Because right now, the technology changed and you need to update. In the past, you can open the company, you can copy the model, you open the company, reopen the companies in a new environment is easy. But right now, we have to use the technology to run the business. Okay? Payment. Today, in the past, people think that go to the coffee shop and use cash to pay money for the drink they order. Or maybe they can use the ATM card, or they can use the credit card to pay for the drink they like, that they order. But now, people don't want to use credit card because it's so risky. People don't want to give so much cash because security reason. They use Momo, they use like some application, they use the digital wallet application in the smartphone to make payment. Is it right? They use QR code to pay for this because with QR code it's very easier. So now even you are opening the company, you are opening the coffee shop, the same the past, but you need to improve the technologies. That's the thing I hope that you know. I think the newest to improve. Provide the philosophy and the strategies for the management of change. Provide the philosophy and strategies for the management of change. Sometimes when you run a new project, something needs to improve and get the feedback to the managers, general manager of the company. And this is provide the philosophy and strategies for the management. Strategy is a set of action, not one statement. So when you run a business and something change and then you need to improve. That so much. And next one, the crossing the functional organizational boundary. When you run the project, it's not the stand-alone project because you have to communicate with many people, many functions. It should look like the cross-functional integration in the company. We have to deal with many people in the company. We do not stay alone. Okay, so when you run a business, that is why the project we also know about the cost, you need to know about the human resources, recruit the resources. You have to know about like the productions, if the project return related to the production, that you need to have knowledge about the productions. Okay. Traditional management function of planning, organizing, motivating, directing, and controlling of line. Even that is the project, but all the skill for the management are needed. Nothing change. You need to plan, direct people, organize people, control the cost, control all the things, control all the activities, and motivating people to do in the business, in your project. The same. So I mean all the skills that you have learned prior course are used in the project management. Principal outcomes are satisfaction of customer requirement with the technical cost, schedule, and constraint. Because this is the customer-oriented project. All of them are commercial projects. So we have to think about the customer. The customer are kings and queens. So we need to consider them. Terminate upon the successful conditions. When you finish the project, finish because we have the time frame. So we have to terminate the project. Close out. That I finished my project. Okay. I hope that you in this course you will have some very fundamental knowledge about the project management. You don't need to understand all of them, but you know that to complete to follow or to make a project, we need to follow those steps. For each step, what will we do? That's it. Then we can apply in different situations, different requests. Okay, right? Anything else? So this is a project life cycle, 4 stages. That's one assignment required you to answer the thing. How many stages in the project life cycle? 4 stages. It's just like the production life cycle, but the production life cycle is different. Conceptualization. Then 4 stages, the same in 4 stages. Product life cycle is mean beginning, introductory. Then we also have the growth, maturity, and decline. That is the product life cycle. But in the project, conceptualization. What is the conceptualization? Conceptualization is thinking about the principle when you do the project. For example, my principle when I run a project is empower. Okay, empowerment. I mean, I empower my supporting to do. I prefer the decentralization model than centralization model. Centralization model means the project managers are the top of the company, in the top of the project. When you want to do anything, tell me, and I approve. It takes time, and sometimes that is good for the small project, but for the big project, impossible. Because you cannot coordinate all of the activities. That's the conceptualization planning, is also in the very beginning. And then execution. high tax, more difficulties, and termination last. It is not one stage. Termination, it takes a long time. Because when you want to terminate or you want to close the project, it takes a long time. You have to audit the project, is it right? You say you finished, but how is other people think? We need the third party to audit your project to make sure that all of the deliverables that you have done, you have to produce, satisfy the objective or the goals that we have defined in the beginning stage. The term conceptualization, the fact that you have to define the goals, the philosophy, the concept, the principle, the policies, the requirements, all of them must be defined in the first stage. Okay, all of them we prepare. So what is the goals? What is the planning? What is the budget? We need to have a list of questions to answer here. Conceptualization, okay, I have the concept that we are doing these things. Planning, right. So we're doing is planning. Okay. Actually, in our class CIM 335, we just do steps. Because we don't involve in the real project, so ignore them. We just complete the planning, that's enough. And submit. Finish. Funny. So planning, that means it is not so difficult. But with the first and the second phase, you have the overview about the project. You know all thing about it. And then execution, move. Right. Execution means we involve physically in the project and run it. Termination, auditing. We also have the concept here. First phase, the development of the initial goals, technical specification. Like, what is the goal? What is the concept? What is the principle? What is the policies? Planning, all detailed specifications, schedule, schematics, and plan are developed. You're doing in assignments, right? Execution, the actual work of the project is performed, executing, right, or implementing. Termination, project is transferred to the customer, resources are redesigned, the project is closed out. That is to make people confused about this. I share with you, right? For example, project, very simple project. You want to open the company, but you don't know what is the procedure to open the company because you're the foreigner. Okay, it's so hard for you to open a company. So you visit one law agent, legal agent, and ask them to open a company. So the project is open the new companies and after that transfer to the customer. Because I'm a customer, I want to open an LLC, the limited liability companies. But I don't have time. I don't have experiences about this. I have no information about the law or the legal system in Vietnam. Okay, so I come to the law agent and ask them to open. They will open under their name, okay, or under my name. But in general, people commonly they use their name. That's easier. If you open the company to the foreigner, it's not easy. They require so many documents. Okay, so open a company under Vietnamese person, it's easier. You can open any company you like because you're Vietnamese, it's easy. Right. Open the company, follow when you have to issue the license, and then you transfer the name into the older foreigner. Or you open like this like it's like the joint stock company. If the law doesn't allow you to transfer the name's owner into the foreigner, so let the foreigner buy the share. When they keep more shares, they become the owner. That is the game in Vietnam. Vietnam government doesn't allow foreign to open a company. Not recommend. They don't prefer the foreign to open a company in Vietnam because the security reason. For example, Chinese people to come to Vietnam and open a company, but Vietnamese people, I've got a law allow them, but they do not prefer. Is that right? So what do we do right now? We also have a gap in law. She opened a company under her name, joint stock company. Then she sell to a Chinese person like me. I'm a Chinese person. I come and buy the stock. and buy the share and buy 70%, 80% shares of the company. She also keeps some share. But based under the commercial law in Vietnam, when one shareholder hold more than 50% of the share, the company transfer ownership into me. Is it right? That's the game. Many people right now are using that way. Many foreigners invest in Vietnam and they follow that way. The thing is, we need to find a trustable person. If I trust her, so let her to run the business. And then she had to transfer back the share owner to the foreigner. That's what we are doing right now. So we call this the project, the termination. So she finished her project because her project is open the company for foreigner, and when she finished, transfer, withdraw. That she can avoid the legal problems in Vietnam. Okay. Life cycle. The client interest, the purchase spec, the resources, the creativities, and uncertainties reduce. When you that's very simple because it's terminations. The uncertainty is zero, nothing. Conceptualization very important. If you do not carefully think about the risk, about the thing that you have to face in the future, or you don't have experiences operating the things, so the uncertainty will be very high. Okay. And you have a very short break. For you guys, you can go now. For the new guys, you have to access this link.